going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Legion on Zoom. As usual, this is Ches.
Yo, and this is Miguel.
And this is Rod. What's up?
A lot of shit is up. Today's a really special fucking episode. It's a Halloween special. And in honor of All Hallows Eve, we are going to review part 2. I said part 2 or part deux of The Long Halloween. This shit, like, at the gate real quick, I just want to say this shit was way better than part 1. Way better than part 1. Holy shit.
Right. And I think, and not just that. So we're going to review heavily part 2, the animated version of it, but we're also going to dive into the book and compare it to that. And so we're going to probably talk a little bit about part 1 just in terms of the book, you know, because if y'all hearing us right now, you can check out, I don't remember which episode it was, but we talked about Batman The Long Halloween part 1. But we haven't talked about the book because this is based off of a fucking classic of Batman lore, and that's why I'm rocking my Batman shirt right now for the mood for fucking Halloween.
Nice.
Word. And since the movie's kind of recent, real quick before we dive in, spoiler alert here.
Yes.
Okay. Random cat action.
Yes, exactly. For people on YouTube, you know, if you're not watching us on YouTube, you just missed out some cat action from my cat Esteban.
Facts.
Yeah, but exactly. The movie is recent because the movie came out fucking this year, right? We got it was a 2-parter too, right? Was all in this year, part of this new DC animated universe that you've heard us talk about before, the Superman Man of Tomorrow movie, which was I think the first one that started that off, and then the Justice Society movie too, which was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
I think that's
definitely
right?
want to rewatch that one, and then this 2-parter.
Exactly. So this is technically the first Batman film of this universe, so which was pretty fucking cool to see. But whereas in the book, though, the book is not necessarily new at all. It got published originally. It was a 13-issue series published in 1996 and 1997. All right, Jesus.
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school, bro. Going to Jim Hanley's universe. Shout out.
Yo.
So, as I like to always bring up, what was going on when The Long Halloween got published? Selena just got killed like a year ago. She got killed in 1995. Wait, you said it was published in 96, right?
Right, but Selena what, Kyle? Catwoman?
No, Selena.
Selena, compa.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I'm
we
so
all
sorry
speak Spanish.
Selena got killed.
When we're talking about it's a heavy.
People were
Catwoman.
confused and shit. Like, Selena died in 95. What the fuck? Wait, I mean,
Selena Quintanilla. Selena died in 1995. We're still all up in the AIDS epidemic, and crack is happening. And I think the Bulls are like smack dab in the middle of their wild ass championship run, just for some context.
Oh, that's a good context. And Rod and us are starting high school around that time too.
Yeah.
Rod started masturbating vigorously.
Yeah, we all did in the 90s.
Oh, hell yeah.
Facts.
But
yeah, so
exploring, learning ourselves.
Yeah, so that all that was going on during the original publishing of The Long Halloween.
While listening to Selena in the back. And all that. But I think just to give a shout out to the creators of this fucking awesome book, because I never read the book itself until now. Like until the movie came out, I was like, all right, shit, I better check it out. And it was written by Jeff Loeb and drawn amazingly, beautifully by Tim Sale. I cannot stress enough how much the art just was fucking beautiful for me, and it's so weird, it's so different, it's a very unique style that I remember back in the day. I was like, I'm not a big fan, but I felt like in the story of The Long Halloween, it just fits the creepy, you know, Halloween style. And
for the fans that are only watching the movies, they showed snippets of Tim Sale's artwork in the intro, and the animated movies tried to somewhat model Tim Sale to a certain degree while also having their new style for that animated universe.
Yeah, so I was going to say
that interplay. It was like a cool, like they tried to do a little bit of it with like Falcone and some characters like his daughter Sophia, like very Tim Sale-esque. But yeah, check out that art. It's dope.
That's one thing I did kind of notice. Like what Raj just said, that the actual animation is kind of similar to the book, like but just a bit more advanced in a way. But I was just really surprised. But like, I know that it's like a pretty dark story. This one just felt overall heavier than the first one. Like, I don't know why. There was just something about it. Like it hit the ground running, obviously, because like it's a part 2. But at the same time, and also you see how this type of animation, like I know I said it looks Fisher pricey when it came to the Superman movie, but it works so well with the darker tones. Like it allows itself to like not be as childish. Oh, and I got a quick question.
In other words, you were hating and then they won you over. That's good.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's not it. But anyway. All right. Which Bruce Wayne is more obviously Batman? This one or the one from season 4 of the animated series?
Quick sidebar. Right before we started recording, we were talking about Curse of the White Knight, which I'm currently reading. And check out that Bruce Wayne. He's like a mountain of muscle and he's grimacing all the time. Like it's like looking Alfred and just anyway. Yeah. I would probably go with, I mean, this one has kind of like the emo goth, like dark circles and shit.
Right, because a big thing I think for the fans to know out there, because actually in the book and in the movie, and in the movie I think it's more in your face, that this is really early on in Batman. Like technically it seems, I believe, like it's set in year 2 in the comic books. That's kind of like the idea for it, and it seems like here in the movie it's kind of like almost year 1, almost, isn't it, or year 2 probably. Dude. Because I didn't love how they kept saying, multiple people kept telling Batman how he's a bad detective. I'm like, all right, you get it. He's learning.
Which I noticed that they removed that in this one. I guess enough people had already like said it. But then there's shit like the way he got caught at certain times was like the way Scarecrow gassed him was infuriating. But like you had to keep remembering, like, okay, he's new at this. Yeah. He's new at this.
Right.
He doesn't know what's coming yet. But quick side note, Scarecrow could have had him the first time he gassed him, if I was Scarecrow, I would have beat the shit out of Batman right there. Booked it. Like, what the fuck? Like, why would you just gas him and leave? That was so stupid.
You're getting ahead of it.
No, I was gonna say, like, in fairness, like everyone's new at this. I feel like the only experienced people are the mobsters. You know what I mean? Like,
hell yes.
The villains are new. I think they kind of have to be because it only makes sense. But he's such obviously a new Batman that it's infuriating. But I appreciate it.
All right, so I think now to set the stage for the fans out there, just to remember all this, because you brought up a good point, right? Because we have the rogues galore, right? Of like all the best Batman villains are in this book, and which I love that they did it very well in the book and in the movie. But it's not really about them, right? So the movie and the book is really about the crime boss of the crime families, right? Primarily the Salvatore, Carmine Falcone, which is the Roman, who's the main one, and then his rival, which is Sal, the boss, Maroni, and that they're going basically at him. Right, exactly. So they're trying to figure out, keep doing their mob shit, right? But then we have this holiday killer, which the whole book and the movie, I felt it was a little bit of a less degree, is set up as a whodunit, right? It's like, who is Holiday? From the very beginning, you do not know. And the key thing is that they're murdering people associated with the mobsters, primarily first Falcone, and then with Maroni on holidays, right? And so that's the premise. And then, as Batman, Jim Gordon, who's a captain, who's not Commissioner Jim Gordon at right now, and Harvey Dent, who's still the good-looking, DA, played awesomely by Josh what's his last name?
Josh Duhamel.
Yeah.
Jesus, that shit was amazing. Yeah. Good Lord.
Right, so they're trying to solve these murders, because it's a serial killer, right? They're the serial killer that's hunting the mob families. But then at the same time, story-wise, Joker appears, Scarecrow appears, Mad Hatter, everybody fucking appears. So it's pretty fucking cool.
Which, quick side note, I hate the way that they use the Mad Hatter in this story. Well, like in the cartoon, animated feature, excuse me. In the animated feature, because he didn't act like the Mad Hatter. He was just hitting people with shit. There was no mind control. Nobody got a playing card in their head. Nobody got a band. Nobody got a hat. All you saw was like blunt violence from the Mad Hatter. Like,
I didn't like part 2. I'm on the opposite. I didn't like part 2 as much as I like part 1. So speaking strictly about the animated movies right now, right? I thought that they forced all these bad guys into the second part. The first part ends great because it ends with Batman versus the Joker, and it's all twisted, and you know it was one of their best showdowns. But then in part two, you get into it, and he's fighting everybody, and it's like, damn, they kind of threw too much at this second part. And then they have an alliance with each other. I'm like, nah, come on. I mean, they're all psychopaths. They're all out for themselves. I wasn't a big fan of that. I know that it happens to some degree in the book. I don't remember the book details that much. I'm sure you could break it down.
Yeah. I'll break it down because that's a great point, because that is one of the things that differed a bit in the book. It happens, but I think I agreed more with the story in the book, but I kind of liked how it happened in the movie, just in terms of the action. But it did feel a little bit rushed, and I don't know, maybe they could have done a part 3 instead, and then kind of slowed it down to kind of bring them all in. Because in the book, what's really cool about how are they getting involved, how are these villains starting to appear, there's a few reasons for some of them. And you mentioned the first one we get is Joker, right? And the whole idea with the Joker in the book is that he comes out in Christmas. So after the first 2 murders, which was Halloween, the first murder, then it was Thanksgiving, and by that point, Joker's basically escapes Arkham. And he's like, yo, fuck this, I'm gonna be the craziest motherfucker out here, so I'm gonna go kill Holiday. And I'm like, that's beautiful logic. Like, I'm like, that's the Joker. And in the movie, it wasn't exactly like that. It was more like sort of that, but also apparently they also threw him in as he might be Holiday, actually. Like, there was a moment where Batman's figuring out, like, well, he escaped before the first murder, and it was like a bit messy.
In the movie?
Yeah, in the movie they did that.
Damn, I disagree. I feel like they really showed that the Joker was trying to be like Gotham's, savior, whatever the fuck. I got that impression from their showdown.
No, I got that too. No, but there was a scene where Batman is talking with Alfred and figuring out who the Holiday is, and Batman, to highlight, I guess, how bad of a detective he is right now, he says like, "Oh, Joker is a possibility." I'm like, how is Joker a possibility? When he's obviously there to kill whoever Holiday is, and exactly in that fight scene on the helicopter, because freaking Joker decides, I'm gonna gas everybody on this Christmas Day like parade thing, and then Batman's like, but why kill everybody? He's like, well, half of the city's here, so I got 50-50 chance to kill Holiday. And he's like, and if I don't get him, I killed a bunch of innocent people, which is great. It's
that good old Joker logic.
Yes.
Dude, there's one thing that I wish they would have done like a little bit more fleshing out, is the whole Two-Face inside Harvey Dent thing. Felt like I feel like they didn't put much weight on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he had the inner voice, it would pop up periodically, but like, where did it come from? Like, all they said about Harvey Dent was really, at one point at the end of part 2, was like there sure some deep scars in there. Oh, really? Like, you don't say. Like,
yeah, exactly. I didn't. So that's a big thing in which they differed between the movie and the book, where in the movie he's actually hearing his the voice of fucking Two-Face before he becomes Two-Face, no? And there's the indication that he had some problems from before or something. In the book, though, it is really, it kind of feels like it is as much a Harvey Dent story as it is a Batman story. And in the book, it kind of, you feel that he's just someone that's angry, that he's like getting fed up with the crime bosses getting away, the justice system not fucking working, and then he's reaching his the fucking limit to all of that. But it's not as cartoony as like, oh, I'm hearing voices or stuff like that, because then eventually when we'll get to the scene where he finally gets, happens to become Two-Face, I don't know, it's handled a little bit like, yeah, exactly, like, all right, now he's just psycho. He's Two-Face in the movie.
Also, I could definitely see where and how this influenced The Dark Knight Rises, with like Harvey Dent and like his whole backstory, like certain parts
of
The
Dark Knight, right?
Definitely see it. Yeah. You could certainly see. No. I'm sorry. I said The Dark Knight Rises. My bad. I meant The Dark Knight. Yeah, like where they pulled bits and pieces of The Long Halloween. And
for sure, 100%.
Definitely. Now, I think, I don't remember if I had mentioned it, but I think I had called it that I thought that it was going to be the person that it was. I'm not going to say it until, like, we wrap or whatever. But it's so weird, just the way that I don't know, like it was odd that it. I would have appreciated at least some more hints towards who Holiday was. You know what I mean? Like they left out, like it was legit. You get nothing. You get nothing.
So it was a good whodunit.
Shit, it was a none whodunit even. Like
you know what? You know, I just like recently realized too how much like Hush is a successor to this story because they're very similar. Because this part 2 opens up with Bruce Wayne under Ivy's spell. You know, in Hush, she gets Clark. You know, in that infamous showdown.
Right.
So I'm like, it opens up with Poison Ivy, and then Catwoman's involved, and there's like a masked murder, which was not Jason Todd. Whatever, it was the Riddler. Yeah, it's like a very similar vibe. We see you, Jeff Loeb, writing the same story many times, but they're great, so we consume them.
I really wish that the show Mythbusters would have been around because I would have loved to see that tested, putting like a nipple on a gun to see if it really works. Because I don't know if that was a trademark thing or was it like a technical thing, because that doesn't seem like a silencer. I heard the gunshot every time.
Right.
Every time Holiday shot somebody, I heard the
right.
Like it was obvious.
Because for the listeners out there, right? Because Holiday, the big thing with Holiday was like that he would leave the gun that he used to kill, which was like a little, like I think they referenced it a .22 pistol,
yeah.
And that had the ID, you know, sawed off, and he would shoot. He or she would shoot the murder the person with, what was it, like those like baby bottle things, right?
Yeah, pacifier.
Yeah, I just Googled it, which probably put me on the FBI's watch list right now.
Damn,
I'm trying to find if you can actually do this. And I'm seeing some like obscure.
No, I'm not fucking with
pro gun Reddits. No.
And that's what we lost. Rod's a mega.
Yo, pro gun Reddits.
Damn,
whole bunch of magas in there.
Yo, we lost
I'm not fucking with pro gun Reddit.
But yeah, but so the gun. No wait, but the guns, right? And then the Holiday would also leave always a holiday thing, no? And so, which is cool because it also is very serial killer-ish, no? Like where they kind of leave some kind of trophy, or they take a trophy and they leave their mark and that kind of stuff. So it is pretty fucking cool.
I have one quick question for Miguel. Was the body count bigger in the animated movies, in the book, or was it the same?
It was actually about the same. It was about the same. Yeah, that's actually, I was surprised with it too. One of the things that, as we were talking about, like right now with like, Poison Ivy and Batman, highlighting again Batman's crappiness in the movie is that part 1 ends with New Year's, where we see the third murder, which is the fourth murder, which is Antonio Falcone, which is the son of Carmine. So it's a big death. First of all, before I get into the next, that was a big fucking difference, because in the book you don't really see him die. But they kind of allude that he got killed and stuff. You see the proper scenes, but you don't see the body. In the fucking movie, you see him get shot twice in front of Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah.
First of all, it's like, how are they not stopping Holiday?
They're just watching him. He got shot more than twice.
No. I think he got shot twice, because I think that's I don't know.
I think it's 4. He shot him 3 in the body, 1 in the head.
Fuck. And then Antonio falls and gets caught up by the propeller. They're on a yacht or some shit, and then he gets caught up by the propeller. Very graphically. So I think this was very interesting, because in the comic book we don't really see him die. There's a reason for it, and then but here we see him die hard, very, very, very much so.
That's crazy, because that means that they had a meeting. They were like, all right, how does he die in the book? All right, so in the movie, we're going to shoot him 7 times. Then he's going to fall off the boat and get chewed up by the boat propellers.
Yep. And right before that, he tries to make a move on Selena and gets dubbed. So his night was ruined from the get.
And
then Batman comes out making these crazy allegations like, oh, you were Holiday. And voiced by Jensen Ackles.
Just wild and reckless year 1 Batman like that. No fucks given.
Yo, but Ches, you were saying that you would have liked more hints into who Holiday was.
Yeah,
watching. So, who did you think, as you were watching the movie, who did you think potentially could be Holiday? Who are your prime suspects?
Just going off of the way that writing goes, the wife was the most pointless character. Therefore, she was Holiday. Like straight up. It's like she served no purpose. No purpose. None of her interactions with Harvey Dent really mattered. She didn't matter in the story, yet they kept putting her there.
Slow down.
No. Dude, look, yo. There was like, aside from what happened at the end, like up until that point, the wife was just like there. But she was mad prominent.
Part of the reason why I appreciated Josh Duhamel's rendition of Harvey Dent was partially his broken marriage. And yeah, she was kind of like a subdued character, but she added to like his descent into madness in a way. She was like fucked up. And they were both, and they were fighting in front of like Jim and Barbara Gordon and shit. And
he was so tight that like that's Two-Face got so tight at his wife that shit contributed to his descent into madness. That's crazy.
As the married man in the group, I can relate. I can see.
Exactly.
Respect. But but I don't mean that she was a bad character. I think you misunderstood what I was saying. I meant that was the tell that she was Holiday. You know what I mean? Like it's like it would have been too much if any other character was Holiday. Like who's gonna be Holiday?
All right,
like,
let's get into it. Let's get into it then. Fuck it. Let's get into it because obviously we already did the spoiler fucking thing. So the movie reveals us that Holiday is none other than at the end Chez's favorite character, right? Who was it, Chez? Wait,
spoiler alert here.
We already gave one from the beginning.
Yeah. Just in case it kept going. Her name.
Gilda.
Yeah. I was gonna say Gertrude.
Some crappy old timey name like that.
Damn, bro. Why are you being ageist?
Not ageist. It's just I don't know. We don't use those names anymore that often. When's the last time you met a Gertrude?
Oh, there's one in Runaways, right? Gert. That's what they call her in the Marvel's Runaways.
Oh, maybe. Right?
I
don't remember.
Our combined knowledge knows no bounds.
How does like a little baby come out and it's like Gertrude? Like what the fuck?
But I got a question for you guys on some nature versus nurture shit. Who do you think was more asked out, parentally speaking, Bruce Wayne or Carmine Falcone's kids?
What do you mean that got
asked out?
Like Bruce Wayne, like he lost his parents, so he became an orphan. That's how he was asked out. You know what I mean? Like he got fucked over by the cosmos. These kids didn't choose to be Carmine Falcone's kids, and he was a horrible father.
Yeah. He's authoritarian.
So who had it worse?
The Falcone kids.
Hands down, the Falcone kids.
That's crazy. That's deep if you think about it. Having a bad parent is worse than being
having an oppressive parent is worse than having like, well, I guess Alfred was a father, but most of Bruce's youth was spent like venturing the world and shit. So he kind of was like a legitimate orphan and shit.
He was being epic. Damn, I did not think you guys would have said that. That's very interesting. That's crazy. But you know what? Like, I tend to agree because he really fucked his kids up. That's wild, yo.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing that stood out to me. Like, how bad of a dad fucking Carmine Falcone was.
And actually, with that's perfect to connect back to the book. Because in the book, I think he was more of an asshole to some degree.
Really?
Yeah, because as we've been talking, I don't know if fans out there know. So both Rod and I have read the book. I recently reread it. Ches hasn't. But we've all seen the movies recently. One of the big things that I loved about the book was that, first of all, they kind of never fully reveal actually who Holiday is. They kind of leave it up that it could be three people, and it kind of confirmed almost that it was three people. Whereas in the movie, they pretty much were dead set on it was Gilda, and that was it. Because in the book, what happens, the first person to reveal himself as Holiday is actually Antonio, the son that we saw got killed, chopped up by the propeller. He didn't die in the book.
I thought that at some point.
Yeah, so he didn't die. So in the book, the whole scene in Labor Day when they have Sal Maroni, that they're transporting him after he burned Dent's face, and that they, in the movie, we get the scene where Harvey Dent, Two-Face at this point, tries to kill Sal. and then he doesn't kill Saul, right? But then we see Holiday appear and shoot Saul in the fucking head. And then again, Batman just standing there, just letting all this shit happen. In the book, what happens is that Holiday attacks them, not Two-Face, and then Batman, because he was undercover in the transporting of Sal Maroni, but they still kill Sal Maroni. Batman confronts him and reveals him that it's Antonio, that it's been Antonio all along. But some of the dates don't add up, and some of the evidence that we saw in the movie that they found some of the guns in Harvey Dent's home is also present in the book.
So how do you feel with that massive deviation in story? Like, it being such an iconic tale. Like, how do you feel with them taking, like, all right, so we're going to take this iconic story and just change the shit out of it?
Yeah, which they've been known to do, and just only because they know a big portion of the audience knows what's going to go down. So I like that when they do that, they change a few things enough for some like shock factor. Yeah, because, you know, we went into it kind of knowing at least who one of the potential Holidays was. Because I think that scene where she's burning everything is in the comic book too, right? I read it a while back, but I vaguely remember some panels from it.
So in the comic book, they do end up confirming that Gilda was one of the Holidays for a minute. And what's left up to the reader to not know, to think about is maybe Harvey Dent was too, actually, before he became Two-Face. Because there's a scene in the book where Gilda finds the gun in the basement, and it's not hers, and she confronts Harvey, like, why do you have this here? And he's like, oh, it's just evidence that I brought home to work with, you know. And they kind of leave it like that, like, and then because all throughout the book the mob bosses think it's Harvey Dent. They think it's Harvey Dent killing, and that's why they try to kill him and blow up his home, but as they did in part one. Yeah. Whereas in the book, you know, he fakes his death actually, and in the movie he actually gets injured and he's in the fucking hospital. And so that's how that works out. And the reason for Gilda becoming Holiday is very different. But what was the biggest difference was Antonio, which I thought was funny because that's why in the movie they hella killed him, right?
Yeah.
Like made sure that he was dead.
We just want to let you guys know that he's not one of the Holidays. So we're gonna unmake him.
I think also I think a little bit like everybody who's watched it, go rewatch it. Because I think probably whoever we gotta look this up, who wrote the movie, I don't think they like that in the book. I don't think they like that Antonio was Holiday in the book, because after this happens, after he dies, there's a scene with Batman. I think he's talking to Alfred, and then Batman says, how could I ever thought that it was Antonio? That was such a wrong idea. That was like a stupid thing for me to think. And it's like really down, which I felt was like, are you trying to say something to Jeff Loeb? It was a stupid idea that it was Antonio to be Holiday. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, with mad conviction.
Yeah, and Jeff Loeb did that with Hush as well, right? Because at first Hush unbandages and it's Harvey Dent, and then they retconned it that at one point it was Jason Todd, and you know,
poor Jeff Loeb.
One thing I didn't understand is, and I'm definitely hoping from some actual insight from Miguel on this, like, I don't really get Calendar Man's role. It was like Hannibal Lecter, but kind of useless.
You know what I mean? Like, hell yes, I'm glad you bring. I hated Calendar Man in the movie. I like. Thank you. Okay. In the book, he was so good. So a big difference in the movie. Exactly, this Hannibal Lecter type character, which is Calendar Man, a villain of Batman, right? Kills on holidays, right? That's his whole.
And he's gorgeous.
Lindo ese hombre.
Like in the film, like his voice is just like damn.
And he's like his lips are thick and shit. Like, I don't know.
Facts. Like no, they beast it. But,
right, but in the movie, they make it sound. They say that Calendar Man reaches out to Jim Gordon and Batman, wanting to talk to them about the killings, to provide, you know, his thoughts on it. And like, okay, that happens. But in the book, it's the other way around. Like Jim Gordon and Batman go to Calendar Man to get his thoughts. And they do really use him kind of like that to help them understand what may be happening. And he's more prominent in the book because of that. And which is really cool, because Calendar Man is the first one in the book to start. He switches. He says like, oh, he will kill again. And then he'll say like in the same sentence and say like, oh, she already killed. And so he, like already telling you the calendar man maybe knew it was more than one person holiday, and it's a Harvey and Gilda probably.
Yeah, and maybe a suspect too.
Uh-huh.
But that's the thing that irks me. Like, okay, so it's obvious that Calendar Man is mad isolated, straight up. How does he know any of this? Like, how does he get any of this information?
He's at this point in Batman's career, Calendar Man is a better detective than he is. So he's outsourcing the detective work to Calendar Man. And again, I'm more familiar right now with the animated one. I just watched it 2 days ago. And I feel like that's exactly what they were using him as. He was doing like all the deducing and shit. And then Batman's like, oh, all right. And he runs away and does the work, like the legwork. But he's also like, voiced by the guy, the fucking polka dot man,
bro. Oh no! The Calendar Man. Oh shit!
Yeah. David Dasmalkian. I'm pronouncing his name right.
Oh shit! That's Polka Dot Man from Suicide Squad.
Oh,
yeah, that gorgeous Calendar Man.
No, that's epic. That's crazy. But it's like, I still don't get it. It's like, were they giving him all the information? What's Calendar Man's power? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's his ability? Like, what he knows dates very well. Like, but it's like he didn't know that Harvey Dent was married unless they had told him. You know what I mean? It's like he seemed very removed from the situation.
Yo, and the irony, real quick, in the Suicide Squad, doesn't the Calendar Man call Polka Dot Man like a little pussy or some shit?
Yeah,
like, you little pussy.
Yeah.
He's in the fucking Suicide Squad movie, played by some other comedian dude. But anyway, go ahead. Calendar Man.
He's in Suicide Squad for like a second, like when they're at the beginning, when they're all in.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You probably did that shit on purpose,
pussy.
knowing Gunn. He probably definitely did that shit on purpose. But yeah, it's like he seemed too removed to make sense in the story. Like, it's weird to me. It's like, unless they were telling him everything. So Batman and Gordon are like, all right, so Harvey Dent is married and he's having marital problems. So we think it might be his wife, because there's no way he should be able to deduce that. That's weird. You get what I mean? Like, the fact that he would say she, even in the book, right? That's horrible.
Facts.
But like, it's just very odd to me. Like, my brain can't make that reconciliation. Like, how would Calendar Man even know Harvey Dent is married?
Some of stuff like that, I feel like that's just public knowledge, no? Like, and he has newspapers, and you see his wall is covered in newspapers. So I'm sure some of that is public knowledge, and he's reading up on the murders. I'm assuming Arkham Asylum subscribes to the Gotham Gazette.
I don't know, man. On the low, his role felt, and then another grief I have is like, because like there's certain things that they just didn't flesh out. Like, what? You're gonna die? Are you dying?
What happened to Rod?
Am I frozen?
No, you're good.
Nah, we good.
Can you hear us?
God damn. Now it froze on my end. It froze.
Oh, damn.
Are we at the mercy of the elements right now?
I know. For the people out there knowing, we're recording right now when we have a full-on flash flood effect. We're gonna apparently we're gonna get hit by a storm, and so obviously everybody, all of you who are New Yorkers out there, stay safe. Well, by the time you're reading this, you either were flooded. I mean, hearing this, you were flooded or not. I hope you weren't then.
And then, but also on another note, there's a fucking nor'easter coming, and look at what we're doing for you people. More importantly, we're on our mics, fucking breaking down Batman to the deepest levels possible, while putting our lives in danger, hooked up to all this electronic equipment. This shit is not okay, but we do it for you.
Because we love you and we want you to have a special Halloween fucking weekend, man. This is the second Halloween of the pandemic, So it's like, come on. We need this joy. So we need you to, if you've seen the movie, read the books, listening to us right now, but then go revisit it after, to see if you agree with all our shit. So continue and see if you agree with all of Chess's anger.
Which I digress.
That's also quickly. Go ahead.
No. Because I was gonna say, like, I had one more beef that, like, is this certain things they left too many unanswered questions. I don't really understand Solomon Grundy's role. I don't get it. What's his point? Like, what? Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think Solomon Grundy actually in both the book and the movie kind of serves as just like a fun character, that's just like, oh, he's there in the sewers and careful. But a big thing, I think, is that thanks to Grundy, kind of is the catalyst for Harvey Dent to choose to become Two-Face. Because when Harvey, in the film and the book, when Harvey Dent is fucking scarred by the acid and he escapes the hospital and then ends up in the sewers, he meets Grundy, and it's Grundy repeating, as always, you know, the Solomon Grundy born on a Monday. And then Harvey repeats the rest of the thing, which is like the story of how then I think on Friday or something on Thursday he gets sick, on Friday he dies, on Saturday he's like buried or something like that. That's how the story goes. And it for him, then he starts to think like, oh, well, if you were reborn, so that's a possibility. We can start again. We can have a new beginning. We can become something else. And then he removes the bandages off his face and he's like, born on a Monday. Yeah. And so that's like, I think it just served for that, like to be the catalyst for Two-Face to become Two-Face.
It's like I enjoy the story so much. I don't like senseless shit just thrown in my face. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
bro, you're watching a Batman movie. Relax. You're gonna see a lot of senseless shit thrown at you.
I mean, no, like I have.
It's a man dressed as a bat suit.
I mean, being a fan of this new iteration of the DC animated universe, I want to see as many characters as possible. That being said, I didn't like how they flooded, because the team up with Two-Face and Solomon Grundy was awesome, because, you know, they introduced him in the first movie. He comes back as his muscle here. It was cool. But then when he gets Mad Hatter, fucking Scarecrow and whatever, he has a whole squad. I'm like, whoa, when did this go down? Like, these are too many characters. And then it breaks down into a big showdown at the end, a big battle royale. Right. It's just, what is it? Just Batman and Catwoman versus like a squad.
Right.
I wasn't a huge fan of that. It's an entertaining scene.
Yes.
But to me, I think that was the flaw. And I guess it does kind of play into like using too many characters and stuff. But all in all, though, it was a cool movie, except for that. And also, quick Batman jerk moment. How about at the end when Catwoman is holding Sophia off the ledge for a good like 5 seconds, right? And Batman is with a dead Carmine Falcone.
Dying.
He was
Not
dead already?
No, he died after.
I hate it because that was stupid, right? Because in the movie, right, we had this is the scene when Two-Face brings all the fucking villains there, and he ends up shooting twice because it's Two-Face to Carmine. But in the movie, it shoots him like in the neck or something, because Batman's holding his neck like that as to stop the bleeding.
Okay. I thought he was dead already, but okay.
Damn, you imagine he's just watching him hang while holding the dead body, man.
But obvious. I'm saying, like, he's probably
he was dying.
Dead. And then you got like Catwoman, you got your boo holding this like 250-pound woman who's Yalik. I'm like, yo, save them, like. But anyway, that was kind of a weird.
No, I agree.
I
agree.
But that's where you're missing like all the subtle nuance. Like he has his life in his hands, just like his father did, and then he's getting the flashback with the coin. Yo, like there was a lot of shit going on. Yo, Batman's a fucked up dude. Like,
he was frozen a few times in the Long Halloween. Just like
by the way, I don't agree. I don't agree with him going to Crime Alley and like taking off his mask with the fear gas. Like, he could have passed out with the mask on. He's like I'm Bruce Wayne. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was a little bit extra. But
why is he British though?
My bad. I get British when I'm like very upset. But that last fight scene at the end, I almost kind of felt like Catwoman was a hair out of her lane fighting so many villains at the same time. Like she's mega skilled, yes, but like that, she was doing superhuman shit. Like borderline, like that shit was crazy. And I don't understand why they didn't let out Calendar Man out of Gotham. Who was it? I think it was Scarecrow that said like there's someone who's not invited. Why didn't they let out Calendar Man?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think
who let all the villains out?
So that happened the same way in the book, because I think in the movie it was Harvey Two-Face. Two-Face released all the villains.
Okay.
To go attack Carmine, because I think in the book, the way I understood it, which also made more sense, because you're right, because Rod, you're right. Like, you know, in the movie they kind of just brought in all the villains, kind of like shoehorned them in without any big explanation. In the book, it's a little bit more a nuance in which they eventually reveal that, as you know, when Poison Ivy comes out and then Scarecrow comes out, is that they're all working for Carmine, and that Carmine crossed the line, that because apparently like in the mafia, you don't work with the crazies like that. But he's like, nah, things are getting harder. I have to recruit these people. And so he's working with them now, which ends up coming bite him in the ass, which I think that's why then Two-Face says, like, fuck it, we're the new group of villains here. Fuck the mob. I'm going to bring them all in to finally get rid of the mob, which, because at least in the book, which I hated this whole thing in the movie about Bruce Wayne as a kid with Carmine, and that's stupid. In the book, he just dies. Like, he gets shot twice by Two-Face and he's dead. And it happens super quickly before Batman and Catwoman can do anything about it. And also in the book, Catwoman's actually recruited originally with Two-Face, actually. So when Batman arrives to kick ass, he then is able, Catwoman's like, all right, cool, I'll help you then. But which is on the, because in the book, Catwoman's not really, we don't really know what the hell is going on with her. Like, why is she intrigued with all this stuff?
And an interesting side note, that one thing that I had on my mind for a while, which I literally just had on the tip of my tongue, and as soon as I started talking, I freaking forgot. Damn it! It was a good point, though. It was a very good point. But that fight at the end was definitely awesome. That's what I keep coming back to. I'll start talking shit again when it comes back to me.
It'll come back. But like, all right. So, but one of the other things I wanted to bring up, right, it was the big reveal that Gilda was the Holiday in the movie, and in the book it happens too. The reasons behind it are very fucking different. I don't know if Rod, if you remember this. Yeah. So, because in the movie, right, the whole
I was going to ask you about that.
Is that they start to give us a little bit of, first of all, they start, because I agree with Ches, like a lot of times when Gilda's in the scene is always just about like, oh, how she's like sad and like she can't have kids, and it's like they really kind of like. And she says, like, I'm broken, alive. Like, well, we don't know what happened to her. And it's, like, complicated. And eventually, at the end, they kind of end up finding out that, oh, she actually went to Oxford, where Antonio went to Oxford, who got, very much killed in the movie, not in the book. And that she got pregnant. And then I guess for whatever reason, the Falcone, Carmine didn't want them to have a kid. I don't know why. And I guess had her undergo like some kind of crazy illegal abortion or some kind of horrible thing that left her unable to have a kid again. And so in the movie, it's about her basically then enacting revenge against the Falcones, right? Because she even says that she married Harvey Dent just out of utility because she thought that Harvey would be able to.
That was fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
that was fucked up. Damn, like if Harvey didn't need more shit. Oh, and I just remembered what I was gonna say. Yeah, see, weed doesn't harm your brain. So that everything you said about like that, about Carmine Falcone hiring the crazies and it being like that's another way that I see it influenced The Dark Knight, because that was part of it too. When all the mobsters have the meeting with the Joker and he offers them a job to kill Batman, you know what I mean? Like. I'm starting to see that The Long Halloween influenced The Dark Knight way more than I ever thought. Like, oh shit. Like, it took a lot of things out. And like, oh, like, that's fucking crazy. That's fucking nuts. But yeah, that thing about fucking when she said that about Harvey Dent, and I feel like they just glossed over that part too. Like, yeah, like she said, like the marriage just I married the guy who had the best chance. Like, damn.
Yeah, dude. But also in the movie, it's for those exact reasons, Miguel, you just mentioned. That she had a relationship with, and was it Antonio?
No, that's the movie. I explained the movie. I didn't explain the book yet.
Okay. Go ahead.
So no, that's the movie reason, right? So it's all about her enacting revenge, and then that's why she's like, "Yo, fuck Harvey." Then he was just a pawn in my scheme.
Which makes sense and is savage.
Savage. And in the book, it's the whole fucking opposite. She's actually doing it out of love for Harvey. So they had something happen where she had a miscarriage or something, which explains why she's using the pacifier thing. Which I guess in the movie that's why she can't have kids, and that's why she's using the pacifier as the silencer.
I should have said that.
But in the book, she ends up telling, especially at the end, because she's like fed up with Harvey because he's like she's seeing him lose himself, becoming Two-Face before Two-Face. Like he's just completely consumed by killing the Falcones. And I mean, not killing the Falcones, but by stopping the crime, that she ends up kind of snapping herself and taking the means into her own end but she was wanting to do it for him because she loved him and wanted them to be together and like stop this like mafia nonsense. And so very fucking different reasons. Like, so she loved Harvey for real in the book and did it for him versus, doing it for herself and fuck Harvey.
I am shocked by how much they can make that 180 work. Which one do you guys prefer? I don't know, bro. That's crazy. Damn. Which one do you prefer?
I like the book for me personally the more because that also works with why Antonio was also Holiday, she's Holiday, and why potentially Harvey was Holiday too, because they told us how he's starting to lose it beforehand, and so
they all make mad sense.
It connects that way. It wouldn't have worked in the movie that way, like I think, unless they did it exactly as in the book. But I don't know, Rod, what do you prefer?
I don't know. I was thinking about it. I'm not sure. Like,
why do you think? I'll give you some time. I, not having read the book, I'll still say I prefer the book one because that line in the movie. Think about this for a second, practically and logistically. I moved to Gotham and I married the man who stood the best chance of giving me the vengeance I wanted. That's fucking stupid. That's kind of stupid on the low.
Yeah, come on.
It sounds epic, but it's like, how the fuck did you pick a guy who's going to become the DA and face the mob one-on-one? How'd you know that was going to happen? That doesn't make any sense, realistically speaking. If you break down that one sentence, it tears that whole shit apart. So I definitely go with the book one. Way better written. Because that shit, damn, like it links up, like it's airtight.
And I feel for Harvey. I agree 100% with what you just said. Because I just feel bad for him because you could tell that he does care about Gilda in the movie. And then because then, for instance, in the movie, when we have that scene where he and Solomon Grundy attack Sal Maroni as he's being transported by Gordon, and Jim tells him, "We know you're Holiday," or something like that. He tells him, "We found the guns in your basement." Harvey gets it. He immediately realizes it's Gilda. Gilda is Holiday. And then Gilda kills fucking Maroni. But then you see in that moment, Batman tries to go after Holiday and he just screams with passion, "No!" and just lunges against Batman and starts to beat the shit out of Batman. And I'm like, yo, that's love.
Rod, still, book or movie?
Nah, I'm gonna stay neutral because it's because I like that the movie does that because I knew what was gonna go down, and I like that they made it new to me, like while also again interweaving it into a brand new like narrative. They're both dope. Just why not both? Straight up.
Damn.
No, yeah. Why not both, right?
And also, quick question, because we didn't cover like in detail like the very beginning of the movie. Do you think Poison Ivy had Bruce Wayne bathe in those 3 months or no?
Had him bathing?
Yeah, like was she just get mad dirty like that for 3 months? Just like, did she make him shower?
Wait, where was Alfred during this? I forgot.
No, I thought the same thing, but there's a
he had a rope too.
He had a rope too. He was under the.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, they covered that. I thought the same
thing. Because if Bruce was in showering, he would smell him instantly.
Well, and everybody, right? Because we obviously in the movie we see that Falcone hired Ivy to then basically give all his assets of the Wayne industry to Falcone. Because in the movie, I think they kind of alluded, but I think in the book it was more because the whole idea there is that Falcone wanted Bruce Wayne to launder the money, and Bruce Wayne was like, "Nah, fuck that, we're not." And because even the way the whole thing starts is very different because the book starts with Batman, Bruce Wayne at this party with Falcone where Falcone asks him to do this, and he's like, "Nah, fuck that." Batman then comes back to the party, gets the ledger, finds out who's the person in charge of the bank, and then goes to as Batman to the bank, whatever president or whatever it may be, and scares them to stop laundering money for the Falcones. And so then the guy resigns, and Bruce Wayne becomes like in charge of the bank. But in the book, that's the first murder from like Falcone kills that bank person, which is it was the BD that killed him, the first guy who ends up getting killed by Holiday in the bath, the very first murder. And so that's how it's happened in the book, because then that's why you link from the very beginning in the book that it was Harvey Dent, maybe because they were angry that they got rid of, this person that was potentially going to help the case and that kind of stuff. And so I forgot why I went on this tangent.
That's up. You got lost in your own knowledge. Yeah. Damn.
Because we're talking about the 3 months of Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah. Where Bruce Wayne being to get dirty in the mansion.
Oh right, because it was for the laundering the money kind of thing, right? But so that's something that pissed me off because how bad is this Batman? He was under Ivy's spell for 3 months. In the book. It was only from Valentine's Day to St. Patrick's Day where he was under the spell. So it's a matter of weeks.
It's like a month, yeah.
Not even a month, is it? Like, is it a full month? Maybe, well, probably
almost
3 weeks, right?
Give or take, yeah. But that 90 days, that's crazy. Okay, now
that's not too much.
But that's wild, dude.
Like, no, think about it. Would you respect that Batman after everything we've said? Then he was under, and then I'm assuming, how did Gordon feel lighting up the bat signal like for 3 months and like?
He never showed up.
What's happening here?
And once again, another point, like, why did Scarecrow pick to the day that he got released from Ivy to escape? If he would have done that a day before, he would have been scot-free. He would have done that shit a week ago. He would have been good. No, he wants to escape Arkham the day Batman gets released from Poison Ivy like a dumbass. And then after he gasses him, he still doesn't hit him. Actually got me tight. But anyway, I had a question from Miguel. So, in the book, does anyone get arrested for being Holiday? Like, does anyone go down?
Oh, yes. So that's
because that got me tied in the movie. That was so stupid.
Oh my God, you're right. Because as we're saying that we find out in the movie that it's Gilda Holiday, and then Batman confronts her at the end, and then Batman's just like, "All right, cool, peace out. Good luck with your life," and just leaves her be. In the book, as I said, like they capture Holiday and ends up showing us that it's Antonio, right? And so we know at least Antonio is Holiday for some of the murders, and we're not really super sure because in the book Batman doesn't confront Gilda. We see Gilda confessing to be Holiday in an epilogue, as because she's burning the evidence, and then she says all the stuff I said that she did it for Harvey and all that kind of stuff, and Batman doesn't know. So then, all right, he's not that great of a detective, but not as bad as in the movie. But in the book, they end up telling us that Antonio Falcone, because it's really cool, because Carmine goes to him and says like, "I'm sorry for having been a bad dad, like I got you, like just confess to the murder of Sal Maroni. Don't confess to any of the other Holiday ones, and I'll get you out. I'll get you out like that. It's no problem." And this is what's cool, because then Antonio's like, "Nah, fuck that." He's like, "I don't give a fuck about the mob." I'm like, "The mob is dead. It's all about this next level villains to become super villains." He's like, "So I am Holiday now." He's like, "I am not Antonio Falcone. I'm on Holiday." And he's like going nuts, which I think kind of shows with the death of Carmine Falcone that this is how like the mafia stops being such a big problem. It's all about the super villains, that finally they're the actually big bad guys. And so apparently they say that, Antonio is arrested and he's going to be sentenced to death. That's kind of how they leave the book.
But you see, like I would have appreciated even some closure, because it's like, did year one Batman just let somebody with mad bodies go? This lady has a year's worth of bodies. Even counting on St. Patrick's Day, she killed like 4 or 5 people in front of the building. That's crazy.
They killed mad groups of people. She just walked away.
And Oli says, like, "I need to know Holiday is done. Fuck out of here. Lock her up. She belongs in Arkham." Like, what are you doing? He just assumes. He literally takes her word at face value that she's never gonna commit murder after committing dozens. Fuck. Oh my God. Fuck year one Batman. God.
Exactly, because that's why at least in the book we get that resolution with Antonio going to prison. We know, and Harvey Dent is in Two-Face is in because Two-Face also kind of like he killed Falcone at the end, same thing as in the movie. So he's going to jail for that. So we get a little bit of closure because of that. And something that I thought was cool in the book was I was reading that in the deluxe edition of the Long Halloween, which this wasn't included in the book, but they never really they kind of left it up in the air that they were going to kill Antonio Falcone, who's Holiday, quote unquote, in the DC comic book really world right now. But they wrote additional pages that would never made it to the book that had him actually, they deemed him insane, so they sent him to Arkham. So they didn't kill him. And there's these scenes that's so awesome sketches by Tim Sale of the cell that he was in was right in front of Calendar Man. And that they're basically just talking shit to each other, saying dates of holidays and shit like that. And it's like, oh, that's awesome. Like another Calendar Man. I'm like, yo, there's like, I want to see what happens next, man.
Dude, that is infinitely better than the way it ended by him just letting a mass murderer go.
But I think he lets her slide in the comic book too. That same scene is in the comic.
But still, like,
right with Gilda.
Does he know in the comic? Because I don't think Miguel mentioned that.
No, in the comic, I don't think Batman found. If I remember correctly, Batman doesn't. He kind of.
I think that same scene where she's burning things and then he walks away.
No, the scene of her burning
the basement
things
scene together.
No, they do a scene where because he's thinking that Harvey Dent is Holiday, and because that's the thing, we are left thinking there's enough evidence that it might have been Harvey Dent. But the scene at the very end in the basement where Gilda is destroying things, the evidence, that's on her own. Batman's not there for that. So Batman didn't catch that Gilda was. I think Batman ends up thinking that it was Antonio and Harvey, and that's it. Because even at the end, Batman says to Jim Gordon, which I think is similar to what happened in the movie, that Batman tells Jim that Harvey was Holiday because, like, look, like he killed Carmine Falcone on Halloween, on the last Halloween, so he's like still with the same kind of gun that he was using before. So, but yeah, no, Batman Gilda gets off scot-free in the book.
Damn, that's crazy. Dude, I literally just had a theory right now. It just popped into my head. What if, and it's because just due to the lack of explanation, like it kind of seems like it has to be that. What if the break inside Harvey Dent is because he knew about Gilda the entire time? You get what I'm saying? Because he has to chase Holiday, but he doesn't want to arrest his wife. And he knows from the get. So the whole time, it's kind of like when you start like to rip a piece of paper, it just gets more ripped. You know what I mean? So it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse because it becomes more and more and more obvious that it's his wife.
Like in the book, you mean, or like in the book?
No. Even in the cartoon, because in the cartoon, that's how it seemed to me. Like
animated the cartoon, feature.
Yeah, animated feature. In the film, I thought I had one of the questions answered real quick until you mentioned something that is like, okay, that would explain how Two-Face becomes like the new mob king of Gotham. He killed Falcone. That world follows that, but then no, in the comics it was the son, which took that away. But then it's like they never really explained Two-Face. But what if because Two-Face because Harvey knew the entire time, and that literally ripped him at the like psychological scenes.
I like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Yo, I like that. But in the book, it is Two-Face that kills Falcone, though. It is, although Antonio.
Oh shit! Okay.
Antonio's in prison because he's Holiday, but at that point, Harvey already became Two-Face, and he's still because in the book, I do believe that Harvey then was about stopping the mafia, and so he finally does it. And so that's why, because at the end, he turns himself in willfully to Jim Gordon and Batman because he's like, "I did it, I ended it. Now put me away." It's like, damn. Shit. The one thing I wanted to ask before we wrap up, that I wanted to get your thoughts, especially you, Ches, because you've had a lot of hate about things not making sense. We do have this scene in the movie where Harvey Dent, when he gets splashed with the acid, it's because he's at court, right? Como se dice, getting the testimony of Sal Maroni, who said he was going to confess because he thought that Holiday was a part of como se llama, the Falcone, blah blah. But it was all a ruse. To just because he thought Harvey Dent was Holiday and to get him, right? And he threw acid in his face, right?
Yeah.
How the fuck did he walk into a courthouse fucking after being like fucking like with acid? Like
I thought about the same thing. I'm like, dude, I had to rewind that. I'm like, did I miss something? Did I miss a scene where they showed him getting the bottle passed? Like, what?
In the book, they explain that perfectly.
Come on, man.
In the book, what ends up happening, another very, very, because actually the last fucking person Two-Face kills after Falcone in the book is his assistant. Throughout the fucking book, the DA, Harvey Dent, has his assistant that's working for the mob, who's working for Falcone. And so right when Maroni is about to walk into the courthouse, the assistant gives him something for his ulcers, right, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Telling him this, hey, it's from Falcone for your ulcer, knowing that he knows what needs to be done. And so that's how I'm like, that makes sense. He fucking passed it after he did all the fucking security and all that kind of stuff, so the DA's assistant, man. And so that's why at the very end in the book, after Two-Face has this big ass thing with all the supervillains, he ends up killing Falcone. He then goes to the assistant's office and kills the assistant because he's motherfucker. I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Bro, so you see what I'm saying? Like, these explanations are like borderline orgasmic in their logic. Like, oh, this makes so much sense. Thank you for that. God. All right, now.
So like, I wonder, I wonder, like, why would they change it so much, right? Like that, like why?
Or
why
in this case, remove things.
Yeah,
they did stretch it into a 2-parter. Jesus Christ, that shit was lit. It's on HBO Max.
That was lit.
So if you have a subscription, go watch it. Well, forget all the hate. It's one of the better made.
No, yes.
I'm glad that they held off on this one, right? Because fans have been wanting this animated version for a while.
A minute. Yeah, you're right.
So they made Dark Knight Returns, The Killing Joke. Okay, what's next? All the classics got to come out animated. And they made this one a 2-parter. As you can see by Miguel's explanation, it's a big story. And as in most cases, the book will always give you way more detail than the feature can ever will, even if it's a 2-parter. So that being said, shall we rate?
Wait.
Out of my mouth.
Wait. Before we rate, just because we said something, I just remember one last thing, actually, because we're talking about, you're right. One thing is that they removed things like the assistant, and then they added things, right? Like the whole backstory for Gilda, which isn't so much of a like adding. They just switched it, right? From the story from the book, from this right here, they switched it. One thing they did straight up add that was not in the book at all. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Catwoman's story. In the book, in the movie, it was all about like how like Falcone might have been her dad, right? And that's
what I got.
That's why she's in this. In the book, they kind of leave it up in the air. You don't really know why she's involved. They kind of tell there's a line where she says like, maybe I'm doing it because like I like all this is fun. Maybe I'm doing it because I want to be close to you, Batman, because you're here, you're doing this, and she knows it's Bruce Wayne. And then, or she's like, maybe it's none of your business, and that's it. It's like, oh shit, okay.
So they ironically added that, like as opposed to taking shit away, they added that in there. I actually enjoyed that. That's good. I like that. That's pretty dope. Like it would make, for some reason, it clicks to me that Selena Kyle is like a mob princess who's an orphan in a way. Ooh. And she resents it, like kind of like a huntress, but not really. Yeah, but not really though, because like she didn't know, I guess, like, you know what I mean, like on some shit, like she's looking for her parents, and it turns out that it's like, I like that.
That part definitely felt shoehorned. It felt weird.
Yeah,
because I actually enjoyed that
because she was an orphan, right? Which means that she didn't know her mom. But yet she knew. It was weird, but it was just like 5 seconds of the movie anyways. I was like, whatever. And also cool things about this both features, and I mentioned it when we reviewed the first one, was that I think we're going to see a lot of these things in the movie, like the first chase between Batman and Catwoman, like when they're like unmasking each other in their romance building. I think we're going to see all this shit in the Batman.
Oh, yes.
So honestly speaking, I give it a solid 8. This shit felt like an 8. A heavy 8.
What's up?
Yeah, it's rated R, which is cool, right? So
we got an F-bomb at the end.
And also, which is why the body count is the same between the book and the movie. Makes sense, no? If it's fucking rated R.
Props to DC for that. Damn.
Yeah, dope. I'm so glad to get like R-rated fucking adult. I mean, kids can watch it. right? I don't think this is like
it's not that bad. Like, dude, they see worse on their own with their phones.
Yeah, no, I think most other like, for instance, like what, like none of the Disney Plus shows are like rated R, right? Like they're less, and many people die anyway. You just don't see them.
Bro,
die,
Falcon Winter Soldier, people were getting straight shot.
Yeah,
raw bullets and flesh. Yeah, it's crazy.
If you want to see mass murder animated, go watch Invincible. On this one, you get like classy, like you get a shot of like dead bodies piled on each other, like
you get murder. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You don't get any because Invincible gets gory with the killings.
Word.
I'm gonna go with 7. I'm gonna go with 7.
Oh, really?
0.5. But I fucked it up. I thought that to make that last scene impactful, you didn't need to have Scarecrow. Penguin. What the fuck was he doing?
Oh, I thought the same thing. I'm glad.
What the fuck was he doing in there?
I was gonna think about saying that and I forgot.
It's funny. This whole conversation, nobody mentioned him.
That's how irrelevant he was.
Exactly.
I'll say that's one thing that's the same in the book. Actually, in the book, I'll double check it. I'll triple check it. But like, I think it's just because like Joker got a story, Scarecrow got a story, Poison Ivy got a story. And then at the end, and Mad Hatter a little bit in the book, it was kind of the same as just Chess said it. Like they really didn't use, like, I feel like Falcone hired Mad Hatter not knowing what he does. like he hired him first and he'll control everybody too, like Poison Ivy, like it'll be fine. And then all of a sudden at the end we see there's in the shot and we'll have it up, you know, where Falcone is confronted by all the villains. The Penguin is there. It's like, oh, hey, Penguin. What's up?
Why?
What's your rating, Migs?
I'm gonna give it an 8 too.
Yes.
Yeah, because as much as I talk shit about it right now, especially because so what was funny because I saw part 1 first, and then I read the book, and then I saw part 2, and I fucking liked it, and it was fun and all that, but then I reread the book and I noticed more of the inconsistencies. And I was like, oh shit, like so much stuff changed, but I still enjoyed it, you know? Like, and I watched it, 2 times like that. That's
it was definitely dope. It was definitely dope. And I think because of The Long Halloween, I'm becoming a convert to this new DC universe. But it took The Long Halloween.
And actually, and with all that, because now bringing it back to this is the first Batman film of this DC Universe animated movie. Did you guys all see the after credits scene?
Yeah, I saw that.
I forgot to rewatch it.
The
Flash and Green Arrow.
And Green Arrow. Yeah. So Justice League.
Watch it.
So that was mad cool. It's super short. It's nothing, right? It's just that you know, fucking. I think it's still Halloween because it ends on Halloween. And then, you know, we just have the Flash and Green Arrow show up at the mansion, which I was wondering, though, we haven't seen Green Arrow, though, in these movies yet.
It'd be crazy if they give us a Green Arrow feature.
That connects.
I love it.
It'd be dope if we get a Green Arrow feature. And also, before we just a quick thought, please correct me if I'm wrong, but none iteration of the classics have we ever gotten an animated feature of Nightfall, right?
Mm-mm.
That'd be fucking dope if we got that. This would be the universe to do it. Break Batman's back while he's young.
Yo, but like Rod was saying, what? Yeah,
I'm trying to think of, was that on their what do they call it? Their schedule? No. Let me check. I'll check.
What? But like Rod was saying about like all these key Batman films have been made, and but you can tell that they're waiting in their because when they did Dark Knight Returns, they did it so fucking well. It was 2-parter, right? And I think they thought like for the Long Halloween, we gotta treat it with the same respect of making it a 2-parter, right? Because Killing Joke was just one film, and you know maybe next time we'll do another re-review where we'll do the compare and contrast of it, you know, because there's a lot of differences between the movie too. It is like that for me it's the weakest out of the main, you know, because the main Batman films have been made, right? They're like iconic stories are like Dark Knight Returns, Killing Joke, this one, Long Halloween, and Hush, right?
Year One.
Oh, Year One was good, though. That was one movie, too. That was only one
movie.
That was good. Shit.
What else?
Well, and then I guess the Red Hood, the
that's a modern
modern classic. Yeah,
that
that was good too.
Yeah, one of the best for sure.
Dude,
I would love to see fucking 3 Jokers animated. I think that shit would be fire.
That'd be fucking wild. They'll probably do that shit eventually. Dude, Batman animated features are the fucking shiznit.
Nah, but now, like it's just said now, before the 3 Jokers, I want a Nightfall. They got to give us Nightfall, and it has to be a 2-parter at least, or 3 with Nightfall, because that's a
I was thinking the same thing.
Story, man.
I was thinking the same. That'd be dope as shit. Folks, go fucking watch The Long Halloween parts 1 and 2 on HBO Max. Read the shit out of it in Comixology. Immerse yourself in some bat scariness. This is Ches. Love you guys.
Yo, and this is Miguel. I want to say happy Halloween, fucking everybody. I hope you enjoyed our Halloween deep dive of Batman The Long Halloween. Give us a shout out on fucking Instagram and Twitter at Legion on Zoom. And also, just fucking follow us here on YouTube and fucking wherever you get your podcasts. And stay safe out there, fucking Halloween. Have a good time.
Yep, and there's some irony here, right? Because hasn't this been a long Halloween? Like everyone's wearing it. I'm gonna leave you with that thought. And this is Rod.
Yeah, that's it. Bye.